Hey folks, Brett Weinstein here. I'm sorry that I can't be there with you in person. As many of you probably know, in 2017, my wife Heather Hying and I were driven out of the college where we had successfully taught for 15 years. We were driven out by a rioting mob of students that we had never met. As the campus descended into anarchy and madness, it became clear these students had partnered with the college president, who quickly ordered the police to stand down and lock themselves in their police station. This left our family to navigate a strange new world in which the rule of law did not exist and the facts did not matter. We ended up in this predicament because I spoke an obvious but unpopular truth. The diversity, equity, and inclusion proposals that were being advanced on our campus would, if enacted, put the institution and its educational mission in severe jeopardy. As faculty, it was our job to evaluate and comment on structural changes. But it became clear in 2016 that skepticism and critique had become unwelcome. My vocal opposition to my colleagues' reckless agenda made me public enemy number one. I was branded a racist for standing in the way of, among other things, a day of racial segregation in which white people were encouraged by the college administration to cancel classes and avoid campus for the day. Since the riots, I have been repeatedly invited to speak around the world on the free speech crisis on American college campuses, and on the challenge posed by the phenomenon known as cancel culture. Each time I am invited, I try to convey the same message. This isn't a free speech crisis. It is in no way limited to college campuses, and it is far more dangerous than the term cancel culture suggests. What we face is a utopian revolutionary movement. The claims it makes are frequently preposterous, but there is little reason for comfort in that. This movement wields incredible power. Yes, it often silences its critics, but only incidentally. Control of free speech is a means to an end, the end being a false consensus in which the only voices that can be heard all agree to a set of appealing claims and false remedies to problems that are themselves grossly misportrayed. The ultimate purpose is to redistribute opportunity, well-being, and power, rendering all three independent of merit and achievement, redistributing them based on identity. It does not matter how the appearance of consensus is achieved. Many will self-censor. Others will rationalize themselves into joining the cause. A few will stand up for what they know to be true, but the movement understands the threat of a lone voice that will not be swayed. It makes a special example of them, publicly humiliating and stigmatizing them such that their objections become lost and unhearable. Let me be very clear. It is true that the forces of intersectionality and critical theory that are capturing our institutions are a hazard to conservative voices, but the battle is not between liberals and conservatives. The battle is between a self-serving ideology and anyone who would dare challenge its sacred conclusions and prescriptions. I have been on the left my entire life. I supported Bernie Sanders in 2016, and I participated in the Occupy Wall Street protests after the financial crisis and corporate bailouts of 2008. I have been a staunch advocate for racial and sexual equality and a champion of ecological sustainability since I was a college student. It made no difference to the mob that came for me. All they knew is that I wasn't willing to read from their script. I've been asked by the Department of Education to provide some advice to colleagues who may soon find themselves confronted as I was. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot to say. The movement stigmatizes and destroys the livelihoods of those who challenge it. It cultivates and depends on the cowardice of most who see it for what it is. As a result, individuals who stand up often find themselves isolated, told only in private that others can see it too. The institutions that should guard against this have shown no ability to protect even the most basic educational principles. If we are to turn the tide, it will not be because individuals figured out how to resist the mob. It will be because we figured out how to band together and offer collective defense of the principles that are the hard-won bedrock of our national character. Heterodoxy, nuance, and counterintuitive thinking are the key to both truth-seeking and innovation. Without them, the United States will stagnate and leave an immense power vacuum in the world, sure to be filled by nations far less committed to justice. So let us come together, find our courage, and face down this threat. Americans of every description are depending on us.